Dang. Okay, I'm just gonna start. So hi everyone, welcome to the Secret Boyfriend virtual reading. This is the first time that we have ever done a virtual event. So if this goes well, you may credit me. If this goes bad, credit Jackson Saul. So before we get started, a couple of things. Jack agrees. So we have both a sign interpreter here with us, Lavanya. So be sure that you can see her if you need interpretation. We also have a closed captioner here with us. And if you don't know how to turn that on, I didn't before this happened. What you do is go into, there should be a closed caption button in your bottom bar. If you click the little arrow pointing up, there will be a button that says subtitle settings. Wait, no, that's not correct. Jack, how do you do it? Jack has left me.
If you go to more and then subtitle settings, you should be able to turn on the closed captioning. That's
how you do it. Thank you, Jack. That's Jack Saul. He's the editor-in-chief. I'm Josh Brandon. I'm the managing editor of BWR. We have 10 readers from Boyfriend Village with us here tonight. I won't belabor the introductions much longer. So we're going to go ahead and get started. One more thing. I will be screen sharing a PowerPoint during this reading, which will display author names, author bios, and their readings as they're reading them. So if you want to see that, then that will be available to you. If you don't, there is a little bar that you can push over to the side to block that from view. So I will go ahead and start doing that. And pretend that this was set up perfectly and it didn't start in the middle of the PowerPoint. So this is a not so secret boyfriend reading. Yay! So up first, we have JinJin Xu. And JinJin is a writer and filmmaker from Shanghai. Her poems and essays can be found in the Common and Women's Studies Quarterly, and her films shown at Berlin Herren Feroke Institute, NYC's Immigrant Artist Biennial. She is the winner of the Poetry Society of America's George Bogan Prize. I apologize if I butchered that name. A previous Watson Fellow, she is currently an MFA candidate in poetry at NYU, where she received the Lillian Vernon Fellowship and teaches hybrid workshops. Her chapbook, There Is Still Singing in the Afterlife, is forthcoming from Radix Media. And JinJin today will be sharing a video with us of her and a friend reading her poem entitled, In America, You Are Asked, Why Are the Leaves Green? So I'm actually going to stop sharing now and turn it over to JinJin so she can share with you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. I feel so lucky to be here with all of you, and I'm so happy to see all my friends coming. Yeah, I'll share the video, and I'm currently in Macau, so it's 7 a.m. and I just woke up, so that's why my voice is like this. So share this video that part of it I made in my mother's hometown, in some of the factories there, and you'll hear more about it in the video. Can y'all hear this? Okay.
你听过蚕马的故事吗？蚕马是古代中国神话传说中蚕的祖先，出自《搜神记》。传说上古时有一个男人被掠走了，家里只剩妻女和一匹马。万般无奈之下，母亲说：“如果有人能把我的丈夫救出来，我就把女儿嫁给他。”马听到这番话后飞奔而去。几天以后，父亲骑着马回来了，母亲将原委细细道来。父亲不同意，马咆哮起来，于是父亲把马杀死，将马皮放在庭院里。马皮忽然卷起女孩走了，落在一棵桑树上，女孩化作了蝉，马皮变成了茧。
A horse is betrayed by its owner. Is a horse only exists in China? You are a factory worker. Before that, a silkworm. You spit everything you own in this life from the pit of your past stomachs onto the open palm, which is a mulberry leaf. You do not yet know the cost of your life is a life of another, is a life of your own. Your chewing clogs the teeth of a sewing machine. You beg forgiveness. A life not your own is the only thing you have. In America, your lawyer tells you to say you came here to work and study diligently, which is dedicated to live for your homeland after your free internship. You are a horsewoman anyway. Your supervisor told you to find a man the easiest. You do not disagree. You too want to be mythologized. Your aunts are factory workers. They measure their own fate to make shoes for others, for export. Your grandmother made buttons, which looks like her later cataracted eyes. When she tries to imagine her granddaughter struggle in the loop of the East River. In America, you say your mother was a factory worker too, though your mother looks down on those women in that family. I made cartoon stickers on your shoes, your aunt mother says. Want me to steal some for you? You are jealous. You wish you could work side by side with your cousins, hands busy in machines instead of books. Another lie. Only one cousin worked in a factory. The others went to college. Your mother said it's not a real college. Your cousins ask you to teach their kids English. You sit together on a couch, coughing up watermelon seeds, listening to a dialect you no longer speak. Their life is not your own. Your mother tells her sisters you will help their kids have a life like yours. Your mother tells you don't let her sisters waste your time. How lovely mother in both Chinese and English sounds the same as horse, with two head forwards. From your perch on the mulberry leaf, you spit betrayal. You eat off their palms. You are 25 years old this year. Your mother inquired when will her silkworm pupa let her become a grandmother, preferably grandmother of some white mini pupas, American kind. The silk goddess only exists in English. She is read like marriage. You never grew up with such legends. It is backwards, of the countryside. You found it through Google, and Americans will eat it up. How strange a tale, its greenness growing backwards to wrap up the tales of tales. How does one turn mulberry into silk? Before America, your mother teaches you to swallow like a civilized person. Quiet those teeth. Pack up your horse smiles. The silkworm chews loudly. Now you're asking yourself why leaves are green. You are, after all, what you eat.
Okay, thank you.
Yay, thank you so much, JinJin. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we move on?
Yeah, just quickly, my collaborator Jiao Yang and I did this video together, and we recently made a VR performance of this piece that was shown last week at Bond Festival, but we're doing it again in November. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Thank you.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Thank you so much, JinJin. So I will go back to sharing my screen with the PowerPoint. And up next, we have, wait. Oh, there we go. Up next, we have Charles Theonia. So Charles is a poet and teacher from Brooklyn, where they're working to externalize interior femme landscapes. They are the author of art book Saul Palmettos on hormones, community, and the brain time continuum, and chapbook Which One is the Bridge. So Charles will be reading Overture and From the Sound Was of the World Already. So Charles, you have the floor now. Yay!
Thank you, Josh. So I'm going to read a couple pieces from my long poem about Arthur Russell, who is a cellist and disco singer and disco hitmaker. So I'm going to read just a couple pieces of that. Overture. Bring enough tapes to last your time out of the house. At the intersection of avant-garde cellist and disco hitmaker, there lived Arthur Russell. Every day he walked to the Hudson River, listening to his echoes. He died of AIDS-related causes in 1992. In Found Space, dance leaves time residue. AIDS is not over. You can still feel every ash shaking in the slippery air. Arthur didn't want you to come in and play his drumline. He wanted you to bring yourself into him, bringing you together in his oceanic room. That's where I came looking. I was in my bedroom, arranging discos. He was on the Staten Island ferry, editing cassette tapes in his head. I was at Hey Queen, losing my nostalgia for the nightlife. He had his eyes closed on the gallery dance floor. I heard transmission, light flex, sweat. Landlord shut off the heat in apartments of tenants with AIDS. I can't remember where I read this. They turned the city over at market rate. Everything we do gets in on history. Now, a figment, utopia, a compulsion to keep remaking this world. He looked weird when he danced, but that didn't bother him. He was imagining what the disco was like, a packet of scented dust he kept in his pocket. I look weird when I dance, but that doesn't stop me. I could dissolve in a mass of sweat and breath, mesh, blue lipstick, latex, sequins, all my friends at once. It was hard to go out to a disco and start dancing. The way medicine was going, his faltering voice. People were always living in hope. When the eerily empty dance floor became too much to bear, he seemed so real to me. It was like, that's not gonna happen. If we're alive then, we'll see ourselves historicized early. His question was how we learn to see our atmospheric preconditions. In 2019, Gilead prices Truvada at $21,000 a year. An HIV-positive prisoner gets a felony charge for spitting on a deputy jailer. A pop star throws a prep-themed dance party. What is I doing here? Who would I know if I opened my mouth? The questions because I don't know how to answer them. I go standing in where I am right now. Thank you. So just a bit about the project. There's a recording that I did with Jonah Rosenberg on the BWR website, which involves Jonah sound designing the poem with Arthur Russell's music. So you can listen to that if you'd like. And a lot of the text in what I read and the longer piece is drawn from various sources and research I did about Arthur Russell. So those fragments are incorporated into the poem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charles. Wonderful. I'm going to go right next to the next person. And up next, we have Landa Wall, and Landa is a writer from Angola, Cabinda in France. Previous and forthcoming publications include Bellingham Review, The Blue Nib, Columbia Journal, Ciphers, Fiction International, Grain Magazine, Mission Quarterly Review, Nashville Review, Raleigh Review, Salt Hill Journal, Spillway, The Common, Tool Review, The Cape Rock, and several other journals and anthologies. Selected by Roddy Doyle as the winner of the 2007 Metro Aaron Writing Competition, he has won a number of awards, including East Poetry Competition and Fail. Oh, hang on a second. I'm having trouble viewing this part. I apologize. Fail Filiocha International Poetry Competition in Ireland. He is politically engaged, and his work deals with prominent issues of social justice, discrimination, and cultural strife. So sorry for that, everyone. Landa will be sharing his translated poem, Korotoumou, both in French and English. So Landa, I turn it over to you.
There. Thank you very much, Josh, and thank you for all the attendance. I will read the text. Korotoumou is part of the larger piece of work, Poet in Exile, poetry from Angola, Cabinda, and France as well. I will read first in French and then in English. Korotoumou. Un chagrin n'est jamais qu'une maison en reconstruction. Gondo Moyola. Dans son rêve, Korotoumou reçut la visite de la chanteuse. Son chant s'élevait chaque soir, quand le soleil tirait sa révérence. Un chant profond et nuageux, terriblement triste, et qui faisait pleurer les gardiens de la prison. C'était le chant de la douleur, c'était le rythme de l'accouchement. C'était le chant des larmes, le chant de la joie perdue de vivre, les derniers instants des mondes que l'on savait perdus. Les larmes des geôliers devenaient une flaque, un océan. La chanteuse n'était plus dans une prison, mais à l'intérieur d'une gigantesque barque de lumière. Chaque coup de rame l'enfonçait encore plus dans l'obscurité. Un néant sombre et beau, un ailleurs où elle pouvait entendre la voix des muets et des gisants lui dire « Rame plus vite ». Quand tu arriveras au bout de ton chemin, notre vie pourra commencer. Korotoumou in English. Grief is never more than a house being rebuilt. From Gondo Moyola. In her dreams, Korotoumou was visited by the singer. Her song rose up each evening when the sun took its leave. A deep and cloudy song, terribly sad, and which made the prison guard cry. It was a song of pain, the rite of birth, the song of tears, the song of the lost joy of living the last moment of a world one knew to be lost. The tear of the jazz became a pool, an ocean. The singer was no longer in prison, but inside a huge boat of light. Each stroke of the oars sent her deeper into the darkness, a solemn and beautiful nothingness, and elsewhere, where she could hear the voice of the dumb and of the effigy saying to her, row faster. When you reach the end of your road, all life can begin. Thank you very much.
Yay, thank you so much, Landa. That was wonderful. Up next, we have Trish Hartland. So Trish writes poems, translates, and is a PhD student in comparative literature. Their translations of Menchauchi's Mystery are forthcoming with the operating system in Ugly Duckling pressers. So Trish will be sharing with us a section from Linguabrasions, which is different piece than what appears in Secret Boyfriend, which is very exciting. So Trish, I turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Not like clockwork, hankering for some shut eye in half tongues. I bleed when it rains, or vice versa. There is no metaphor for gaping for a fathom of no breath, with a lung of stained glass spun brittle, as in the way your apostrophe, a cut spear cutting here, digs into the ground of my word, the silt of it, as in the way my God creaks up. Yes, 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 your throat. Yes, my God, your phlegm. My God, your phlegm in a mouth full with the proof of our poverties, where a death waits to crawl up from, out from, waits to suck a cheek in with not a word to split down the middle, not a word to make a meal with, to make in one gulp a single object of you and I, to flesh or fish the object clean, clean out. And again, because there is rain, I'm drunk and bleeding and talk to trash like plants, vining into the unresolved of what is possible. I rub two sacks together, pray for rain till they squeal, and it goes without saying. It goes in my sentence, in my sentence, in my death sentence. The idea of a forest occludes the forest. In my sentencing, in my pile of eviscerations, with no room for proper speeching. Mound of tongues cut up and gushing is animal pus. To let go without saying, it goes without saying. Wow, your voice carries a load not its own. Brimming wet with my lopped off tongues, your voice rolls out onto the cutting board, circumflexed and chanting. Your voice, it goes without saying, and it thrashes and it spills. Your voice in the wet, making marks, wet with phlegm. My God, your voice lives for the event, lives in terror of the event, spinning yarn. Enough for a body, your voice, its weight of loss. That's it. Thank you. That was fun.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Trish. That was incredible. Woo! I'm so taken aback by all of the amazing readings we have so far. But up next, we have Rebekkah Lee LaBlue. And Rebekkah is a queer poet and ornithologist pseudo-native to Asheville, North Carolina, by way of Long Island. The recipient of scholarships from Bread Loaf Environmental, her work can be found in Glass, a Journal of Poetry, Figure 1, and Muzzle. She reads poetry for the Adroit Journal and holds birds in hand. And there is Rebekkah's, I assume, Twitter handle or Instagram handle, or maybe both. Rebekkah, I will turn it over to you and, and let you tell us which one is which. And this is called Ear Training.
Hi, y'all. So yeah, I'm not on Twitter, which maybe is like sacrilege as an ornithologist. I don't know, maybe that's a weird way to look at it, but I do not get down with those kind of tweets, but very tweets of the other kind all the time. So thanks y'all to everyone that's read so far. This has been really mesmerizing, for lack of a better word. So I'm really humbled to be here. And I'm going to be reading a poem that is not the same one that was in Secret Boyfriend. This is also though from a manuscript I'm working on that sort of deals with being a scientist poet and what it means to be in the academy in general, as a femme, as a queer person, and also as a scientist, sort of our responsibilities to our species of study, particularly in a time of science disbelief. And yeah, so a piece I'm going to be reading today is called Ear Training. Already the sun is rising elsewhere. Already binocular-handed on yet another mountain bypass, traversed only by dark, blue ridge, frigid throbbing, pre-dawn carbon sinking sound twixt trillium stem. May apple bloomed to signal the season. We can't see them, but latitude tells us they're here. What may or may not be saw wets on the eastern slope. Supposedly, I'm developing my ear for posterity. Territorial males migration in 4 months' time, though, I have my suspicions. Having just learned how mnemonics can serve me. For example, look up over here in the tree, see me, I'm sweet, sweet, sweet like the sun, risen elsewhere as a sequin. I've yet the credibility to cite. Toe the line, drink my tea without lemon, really? Probably I'm a few jokes vestigial of cut out for this. Discerning only from the ambience what we're trained toward, like infants wailing while I'm in the shower, says the father next to me, someone else's. Though it's been many years. Open fields, trespasses, owls mostly. His son, in earshot, minding satellites, where the hours checklist saunters on unstable frequencies between us, lit infrared midair as breath, the ides of my forehead beaming. But sawwets, you can age them in ultraviolet, fuchsia porphyrins, irreverent concentrations I'll learn in 2 months' time. For now, that song, steadier than sonar's wildest dreams. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Can you hear that? I upturn the soft brim of my borrowed hat like a second skin. Press my better ear to that bright parenthetical, nameless, only in this moment. Before the practiced men beside me speak, can I hear it? Too unlikely. What we can't corroborate, we can't collect, archive. A sequin like me, I don't know the meaning of the word. I genuflect, mount the silence like fever scythe to a horizon from the odd O of inquiry. Tongue to teeth, echo. Look up, over here. Look at the time. Sweet, sweet kin of ears. The men and I moving in reverse around the face of a clock. Thanks, y'all. That's the only one I'll be reading.
I have to acknowledge the interesting nature of this event and how none of y'all reading can hear any claps. But I can tell you that after every reading, the chat is blowing up, and I can't see it. I'm not that good at multitasking, but I assume it's just love and adoration for all the work you're sharing. So thank you so much, Rebekkah. Thank you. Up next, we have Jennifer SPERRY Steinorth. And Jennifer is a poet, educator, interdisciplinary artist, there we go, and licensed builder. She is the author of 2 collections of poetry, Awake with 9 Shades and Forking the Swift, winner of the 2010 Michigan Writers Chapbook Prize. Her read, A Hybrid Text of Visual Poetry Erasure, is forthcoming from Texas Review Press in 2021. She is the recipient of the Connecticut River Review Prize, a Writers at Work Fellowship, and grants from Vermont Studio Center, the Sewanee Writers Conference, and the MFA for Writers at Warren Wilson College. She teaches at Northwest Michigan College, and you can connect with Jennifer at this website right here. Before we go on, I just want to give a mention that if you are viewing the PowerPoint along with this, that I've included all of this artwork with the title pages, and this is actually all artwork from the Secret Boyfriend's featured artist, Nicole Wanhi-Maloof. And I have the titles of everything here, but you can also view the gallery on the website. It's really incredible work. But anyway, so Jen has some erasures for us, an excerpt from her read. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second and turn it over to her and let her share the pieces since they are images.
All right. Hello, can you hear me all right? All right. Thank you so much. This is so wonderful to be a part of. I'm going to say one thing briefly about this work, which is I began this in 2016, the summer, so about 4 years ago in that election cycle, really angry. And so her read is an erasure of Herbert Reed's The Meaning of Art, which was first published in 1931. Though the maternal body appears with frequency in the visual images in the book, 0 female artists are named in the first 2 editions of this text. So this is what I'll be reading to you is from the final chapter of the book. It's somewhere around 200 pages. And so this is where some of the anger has subsided. All right. In view of the sea, in view of the hearse of time, what place should be given to words, scenes, figure studies of oneself, of any self, in transit? In this our one flight, in light of the sea of tranquility, the tranquility of a mind no plea can move, what good are temples to the moon, unless to set ablaze a face otherwise occupied by islands? Why draw lines between us if not to execute the distance between us, if not to let an interior be red, to be very vividly red, red, red and green and yellow, blue and green, such that we do not destroy one another when we bleed together. For each, we realize the self is liquid, lacework, holy water, glass, a conception obliged to transpose as green for red with the beloved, and the beloved is known by many names and by the desire to renounce one name and take another, sweet pea, lion, pussy, Ernie, fire, flower, thou, spear, angel, Amato, Romeo, Grace, she, Queen V, he, they. We love to embrace the danger. We art to toy with feeling, transposing one kind of fear, one kind of love for another. We art to toy with memory, those plastic dreams, to fix in concrete, as if a kiss were anything but goodbye, as if to unknow the marble profile of goodbye, as if to return to the dream of the unborn calling, and in the place the book is buried, plant a tree. Amen. 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 We art to toy with alternatives, by touch to cure, by love to infect, not a man speaking to men, but grief, grief and a patchwork spring, whereby we come to embroidery and sing. We art to transmute pain, pain, that germ that plays upon our nerves, patient as nurses, who testify to our fragility like a Greek chorus, pain into wonder, moonlight, homage, horseshit, pity, wool, stone, velvet, impetus, a war, dawn, relief, salt, furniture, vision, a bridge. When vision is communal, it becomes religion. We art. This is God's image. Or only sing, hands on the walls of a cave. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jen. Wonderful,
you.
wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen again. Okay, back on. And up next, we have Ron Shavers. And Ron is a writer who publishes in multiple genres. His fiction has appeared in various journals, including Another Chicago Magazine, Big Other, Identity Theory, Hank, and The Operating System. Shavers' nonfiction essays and essay-length reviews have appeared in such diverse publications as American Book Review, Bomb, EBR, Electronic Book Review, Fiction Writers Review, and The Quarterly Conversation. Shavers is also fiction and hybrid genre editor at Obsidian, Literature and Arts in the African Diaspora. His experimental Afrofuturist novel titled Silverfish is forthcoming from Clash Books in September 2020. Oh, wow, that's so exciting. So I will turn it over to Ron now, who will read for us Strength Reversed. Ron, I think you're on mute still.
I'm totally on mute the whole time.
No problem, no problem, no problem. That's the nature of all of this.
Yep, yeah. Well, it's a real Zoom thing now. Yeah, it's here. I just got it about 10 days ago. So it's awesome, yeah. And somebody recently called it cypherpunk, as in like cipher, because there's all this stuff about language with it too. So I'm really impressed. Like, I'm just like, wow. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, and I know I need to read. Lately, I've been writing these things called chronicas, and they're this lusophone form that doesn't necessarily have to hang together. It's almost like a blend between prose and poetry. And lately, I've been sort of writing my way through the tarot, less the title, it's the actual strength card, but reversed, it refers to fears, and just 2020, goddamn, right? So, so I did a full chronica just called Strength Reversed, okay, and it should be incredibly apparent in any second. Strength Reversed. Fear of sudden reversals. Fear of the 3 a.m. phone call. Fear of getting run over by a garbage truck. Fear of being exposed. Fear that some things are self-evident. Fear that it's all for naught. Fear of any real feeling. Fear of fear itself. Fear of what success may bring. Fear of losing control. Feldschmerz. Fear that she's just not that into you. Fear that she is. Fear that you peaked a long time ago. Fear of being blind in every sense of the word. Fear that it'll never stop. Fear that you just can't do it. Fear of brown people. Fear that someone will find out. Fear you've been fed a string of lies. It's a lump. It's a definite lump. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of rejection. Fear you're just a drunkard with a smidgen of talent. Fear your teeth will fall out. Fear that it's a herpes sore. Fear of it all spiraling out of control. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of credible accusations. Fear you've missed your shot. Fear you'll never find love. Fear your life is one big Mercury retrograde. Fear you've been lied to. Fear that this is as good as it's gonna get. Fear one day he's just gonna haul off and hit you, and the fear that eventually you'll just get used to it. Fear that they were right about what they said. Admit it, you totally did it. Fear of addiction. Fear that there's no one willing to protect you. Fear of snakes, both literal and metaphorical. Fear you're past your sell-by date. Scared you're gonna get screwed over. The fear of having to start all over again. Afraid to seal the deal. Fear of saying too much. Fear of being honest. It's cancer. Fear that it's all in your head. Sooner or later, they're gonna find out. Fear you die alone. Fear of spiders crawling into your ear at night. Fear of not only hanging on, but also of letting go. Fear of mediocrity. Fear of never fitting in. FOMO. Fear so strong, it'll make you gouge your eyes out. Fear that it's you and that it's been you all along. Fear you can't control it. You're gonna drink yourself to death. Fear of being judged. Fear of making a grave mistake. Fear of the improbable actually happening. Fear that this is the new normal. Fear of the grasping void. Fear of the dancing spiral. Fear of concrete explanations. The silent resignation that arises when you realize that at bottom, that you're a bottom. Fear of intimacy. Fear of the next level. The longer you wait to get that checked out, the worse it's gonna get. Fear of missed opportunities. Fear of excess. Fear there's haints in the house. Fear they'll learn to not to like you. Fear of ever trusting anyone again. Fear of the blank page. Fear you really are your own worst enemy. Fear of always being afraid. Fear of false prophets. Fear of unidentifiable insects. Fear your past will follow you everywhere. Fear of black men. Fear of electric appliances. Fear that you're just like your mother. Oh God. Fear that fear made you do it. Cowardice. Fear of public speaking. Fear that the tape's gonna get out. Fear of getting locked in a closed room with an electric fan. Fear of feral dogs. Fear that the child is yours. You're the father. Fear it's all gonna happen all over again. They know, they totally know. Fear that you're not a work in progress, you're the end result. Fear of getting old. Fear of corn. Fear you look like shit when naked. Fear of ending up homeless. Fear of children, because they're the cruelest of all. Fear the plane's gonna fall right out of the sky. Fear that the shit's hereditary. Fear it's not gonna work. And now you're infected. Fear you'll appear weak. Fear you'll never recover. Fear he likes you for only one thing. Fear of locker room showers. Fear she's using you for your money. It's true, and you know it. Fear of losing out to someone younger, smarter, richer, prettier, and a hell of a lot more talented. Fear of, well, nothing really. It's just a vague sense of dread. Fear of how you get when bored. Fear of eliding the meaning in a swirl of abstractions. The doctor confirmed what you already knew. Stage 4, inoperable. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that we got to hear another Chronica. And there's another one up on the Secret Boyfriend website if y'all want to check it out after this. So up next, we have Ross Showalter. So Ross's work, I did the apostrophe S in the thing. sorry, has appeared or is forthcoming in Strange Horizons, Friction, Hobart, Portland Review, and elsewhere. He lives in Seattle, Washington. And Ross is going to be sharing with us an excerpt from his story, Night Moves, which when you get the time, please go onto the website and read it in full. Great, great stuff. And I will go on mute and turn it over to you, Ross.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Right. The boy had me meet his deaf friend when we made a month together. Introductions that pinned me on the sharp to trusting gazes. Deaf people flow to them up, the boy said. They just needed time before they let me in. I felt like a visitor, always knocking on the gate. After the unusual introduction, we started meeting his deaf friend every Friday night, always deep in some bar, always under light that barely illuminated. I would order something light or non-alcoholic, needing to be sharp in unfamiliar territory. He wouldn't. He and his friend talked back with Rebekkah, giggling, hands knifing throughout the air and drawing blood. The golden boy were pouring out. That in a minute, this time, mini bullshit. I would pay for second and third round, trying to show them. Those rounds only serves to ruin them, level them and grunting, swaying impassable mountains. The boy tried to kick me whenever we got home, grappling to my claws. I learned how to handle him, navigating around his coldly pushing fingers until I got him into our bed. I couldn't smell his cinnamon smell those nights. It drank into alcohol in him. On those nights, barely conscious, he seemed to be grasping not for me, but for something beyond me. When I joined him in bed, he showed me his back, a familiar sword and shield. Those nights, no matter how much he drank or what I did, I could never disarm him. Contemplate your past relationship as you sound the word relationship. How your thumb and the finger come together, interlocking with the other thumb and index finger, with the other finger spread out, left out. There's always the back and forth, but seeing can't show how violent that tug of war can be. My underwear's rope is pierced. My hand, the sheet uncovered a kick to the floor. The bedroom feels like another dream. Me drifting through the moonlight as if it's a flood of water. The corners of the room remind me of scar tissue. The wall fragile as eggshell. I'll follow my ass halfway to the toilet and don't feel anything. Concern flickers as a dying flame. The pill bottle sits on the counter, and I know it is emptier than last night, much emptier. I shake my head, trying to break through into the morning. I need to wake up, but I took too many pills several nights worth. My legs shake when I get up from the toilet, and even the gurgle of the flush sounds like in any other room. I can't go to work today. I need to call the receptionist, tell him I'm sick. His glittering gaze lunges back into my mind, his smile 1,000 times cooler. I think of my boy's back, cold and unresponsive, and I start to like my emotions being outdoors as they are, as if my heart is outside of me, barely needed, barely used. Run your hand along your chin, fingers leading the way. This is the other side of a lie, not telling the truth. Be sure to catch the dribble of an unsaid, leaking like blood from the corner of your mouth. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if you can believe it, we only have 2 more readers. this has gone by so quickly, probably because everything has been so amazing. But up next, we have Jai Hamid Bashir. And Jai is born to Pakistani American immigrant artists. She was raised in the American West. Jai has been published and has worked forthcoming from the American Poetry Review, the American Literary Review, the Cortland Review, Small Orange Press, and others. An MFA student at Columbia University in the city of New York, she writes between Salt Lake City, Washington Heights, and Lahore. So Jai is going to share with us 3 poems tonight. The first will be The Dive, followed by In Dead Horse Point, We Are Alone, and then last, The Waiters. So I will turn it over to you, Jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. It has been such a pleasure to share this evening with all of you and to hear some of the work that I already had read and to hear it from the writers, and then also to hear work that I had not read before and to experience it for the first time from the writer. That was really great. And I think I'm actually just going to read 2 of them, just because that's kind of the mood I'm in. And so I'll read the first one, which is called The Dive, which is the one that's part of The Secret Boyfriend. And here we go. The Dive. The night is still ahead. Sing this knife into the unrush of shellfish. Hush into bodily knowing. Ungather translucent skin in the motions. How sand is swept from fishermen's cuticles. Muscles curl on like floating ears. Listen to the bright, bristling night brush on scour of hard rock. Brine bodies bowed in oceanic prowl of half moons. Strum through stilled sea legs like a cord, once so untouchable, these creatures cruised on benthic floor. The traps in the kitchen are humane. Behind his eyelids in morning, light, humid perfume of open water. He turns off the stove, hands net into a white dress, searching soft whips of ocean line, catching my life in half heaven between water and sky. Tasting each other wet, so bliss drunk, so blues salted, desire moving each lazy applause of May rain, lips espying another super hunger, swimming towards the coast. Now the moon is thinned to fringe. And then I'll just read one more, and this one is called In Dead Horse Point, We're Alone, and it was published in the American Poetry Review, and this is a poem I've been thinking a lot about, especially lately with everything that's going on, so I wanted to share it with all of you. In Dead Horse Point, we are alone, and you are telling me your new father is being deported. Riding past rivers unrushed by summer, stopping to drink orange juice, finding shimmering crayfish, eaten starving as a football boy in Mazatlan, breaking open pinchers, tender parenthesis, letting out how our world has been this fragile, how we are scattered. Desert water evaporating before it ever wets Lahori fruit trees. Naranja, absolute like sun glow, is a tart tautology, rhyming with North America, vibrating echo in both Spanish and Hindi. Naranga, Naranji travels to Spain, gets handed in global fists like the earth itself to the monarch. Crystallized and jeweled Arancia in Sicily, carried in the braid of a small bride or dead-eyed glint of guns as tangy naranja into the new world. Silently, Jay is left out there hanging from its hook. It was half night. Whispering midnight is Adirat. We leaned again on the silver beam motorcycle you sweetly christened El Burro, circling darkened eyes, tying hammocks from aspen trees, sewn in and out in the air eddies of hummingbirds. Covered in pine needles, we pointed, singing names back in English, in Spanish, in Hindi. How can we say father, walls, together, escape? Sloughed skin of a rattlesnake breaks through and under the chains, so bleached white and silver hurry of the moon's reflection. A spiral worn soft as the hand-me-downs of our starving brown grandmothers, abuela and nani across latitudes who once ate oranges out of oranges, down to the smile of slithering pulp and rind. Rinsing my hands under the metallic tip of common stars. If I were to do it again, ride and die again with you, Alberto, out there at half night, this time, ride and die again in the warm breath of our tent. I'd hold you so, with the American strength of a pigskin flying to be caught by a son whose real father, like yours, rode and died and only returned once. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jai. That was wonderful. So our last reader is also our chapbook contributor for The Secret Boyfriend, Rosebud Ben-Oni. So Rosebud is the winner of the 2019 Alice James Award for If This Is the Age We End Discovery, forthcoming in 2021, and the author of Turnaround, Bright XYXs. She is a recipient of fellowships from the New York Foundation for the Arts and Canto Mundo. Her work appears in Poetry, the American Poetry Review, Poets.org, the Poetry Review UK, Tin House, Guernica, Blackberry Review, A, Prairie Schooner, Electric Literature, Tri-Quarterly, Hayden's Fairy Review, among others. Her poem, Poet Wrestling with Angels in the Dark, was commissioned by the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York City and published by the Kenyon Review Online. She writes for the Kenyon Review blog. She recently edited a special chemistry poetry portfolio for Pleiades and is finishing a series called the Atomic Sonnets, featured on Secret Boyfriend, in honor of the periodic table's 150th birthday. Find her at seventrainlove.org. So we have Rosebud reading from the 20 Atomic Sonnets, and I will turn it over to you now, Rosebud. Thank you.
First of all, can we give Josh and Jackson a hand for putting this together, and especially Josh though, because they have done an amazing job. Josh, you rock. Jackson, you rock too. And I just wanted to thank the other contributors. I'm trying not to cry right now because I was so moved by so many of your poems, well, actually all of your poems and your stories. So I just really needed this tonight, and I just want to thank you all for everything. I don't know, it's weird times, right? So the chapbook, which is free online, so read it, read all of our work, all the contributors' work. It has a section at the end that has notes and annotations on each of the elements. I'm going to just give one fact before each sonnet, but there's plenty more that'll give you a deeper understanding. And if you're a chemistry buff, you'll get probably a lot of it. So the first sonnet I'm going to read tonight is called Electron, I'm Such Positron Trash for You. So basically, the positron is the anti-electron. It's a positively charged electron that we now call the positron. And I'm nuts about the electron, but especially the positron. So, don't not speak to me of cloud chambers and stability. I'm a lead head kind of lech. Into mutual annihilation, I wreck to re-dead, molt, rinse, roulette. Cross me and goodbye, horses. / winged Pegasus. I'm as irreal as it gets, always behind of you. That half step you won't have off the ledge. I last as long as skitter, as burned out barns that neigh and nicker, and I've proved nothing completes you. I was there long before your ancestors kicked and cleaved from hooves a grip. I'm why you no longer flip over shallow stream and sharp teeth while you gallop senselessly toward dreams. I let you matter by teaching us to kill each other. I'm absolute trash for you. Thank me, the muddy spin, who never enough us sends every leap to its knees. I'm why you rip the dearest of kin from paradise to null and din. Yeah, so don't mess with the positron. So the next one I'm going to read is about thallium, which is a fantastic poison. Don't use it, right? Don't use it. Don't poison anyone. But it's fantastic because it gradually sickens its victims, and it's really hard to trace at first, and it's really hard to like be cured of thallium. So I wrote this one. It's called "When You Go Out Seeking Blood, Play With Me." Since it's too late, I'm tripping out this slow burial. And since never a typhoid thorn upon tender shoot, since I couldn't have felt the prick, since ants no longer twitch one by one, since only you can glitch, plague and pestilence, which phosphorus cannot even ghost glowing, green in a dark den, you, poisoner's poison, if to ill will me, a sling that snaps slowly or skin, a tooth, fleece my hair and frame, how I'm a real vibe killer, like mange. If you must wrest play from my blood, then ash prayer from this demonic snare. Oh, singe me into outer solar neuropathy, until galaxy fanfare keens from the bottom of my feet, palms up I beg for mercy. Oh, play with me. But no, don't play with it. I feel like I have to add that disclaimer. So the next one I'm going to read is about fluorine. Fluorine is like really badass. It's very toxic. It's very reactive. And so I wrote this next sonnet called, 9F, Appetite for Destruction. And it's completely a sort of ode to Guns N' Roses and all those great power ballads. Brine this pretty and curdle our dreams, O rocket queen. I want you, my electronegative fantasy. Sour my eyes and bitter my skin with the limp and lemon of nature's prison. You, the most unnatural of all deliberate decisions. To free you is to emanate you, pure and undivided. And if I'm direct with my electric sus and bent, wouldn't you like to strip my body of pizzazz and providence? My better say you are not it, essential to my existential ships, your fumes only to turn horizon into ditch, how you blitz, diamond, spar and flow into flinty cockroach, gasp onto the pharaohs swaddled in spells, natron and resin until you curse and reverse what divine binds them. There is little alive, my fiend, to sate your serpentine. I am endless row of glass homes tempting each glossy flame. Never curb a taste to forsake our fate. Make me stench and rank. I want to get devastate. So the next one I'm going to read is iridium. This one is probably my favorite one to write. Iridium is just really cool. It's the second densest metal there is. And so this is called 77 IR. Are you dense? I'm the baddest kiss. If there's one boss left, it's not you on this stage. Agua regia, step off, come caustic, creep corrosion, and stay salty, my rainbows. To the gods, one hit, hun. My iris will weather and true whatever is burning up you. I bless a compass with its variance in the crucible I keep unhurried, insane, when under fever and fury of flame. I'm the iron lore that celestials this molten core. Chasmed the crustaceous and shook all legion in sky and sea. Boomed your beloved dinosaurs and unknown beasts. Believe a lot of comet I did not cherry bomb in peace. How I still brittle that kiss. Why expose me now? 'Tis not my rage. I'm a precious pinch, much more mint than platinum's greatest thick. I don't need to lay it on. I, for when you go amiss, I, come on, don't quit, am the only boss, make a wish on the stage. Yeah, iridium's got a lot of attitude. I love iridium. The next one I'm going to read is, I call it anthemony. I've been told this is not the proper pronunciation, so I'm going to call it anthemony because I'm just like that. It's just really cool. It was used by Benedict monks. It was used by ancient Egyptians for eyeliner. It's also like really poisonous. So this is just sort of a history of it. This is 51 SB beauty killer. Lust for only me and I luster. Stay hard yet tremble at the slightest timbre. My timbre, break me. But be not like the alchemists, lambency of laymen, cloistered in draught and sting, brotherly ragbone of lone wolves. They tried to put a spell on me. Thrown in metalled cage, I was forced to eat cursed trees laced with acid, sour and sick. I poisoned them. And still they sought my heart and claimed this as the mark of femininity. I lined the eyes of women, and yet they purged me to cleanse their depths. I got wiser, fooling great men like Newton, as if I held secrets greater than gravity. He failed to part my seas through wine tartar and sorcery. Mozart died from having too much of me. In China, I shed graven images and pressed, went soft on them. I warm no one. Your prayers I will not conduct. On the last day of church, be assured you'll only arise from your own curse. I wouldn't ignite a way toward rebirth, even if I were stigmata of this scarred earth. So the last one I'm going to read is for Copernicum, which had this really awesome name that you can see from the title that I took a play on. And it's just really cool. You know, it was named, with its second name, it was named after Nicholas Copernicus, who I call polymath absentee daddy. So, you know, I'm just going to read it. Thank you so much for, you know, staying with us and hearing us all read tonight. This is called 112 Cn, Come As You Are, Un Be. Wait, hot minute alpha. Decay, oh what, a feeling, no pain, I am receding, the last, heavy you'll hazard, been said I've yet no purpose, freely I fail like a phoenix inside Hall 9000, or like teen spirit, totally, mosquito, libido, hey, number I, grunge, other metal, touch and go, super radar on the radio, active intelligence, not artificial, like you created both. And so anthropophagia, I mean anthropomorphism, polymath absentee daddy, still wrong, the sun, not the earth, center of the universe, and not me, born lab last of the millennials or first of Gen X, it isn't clear, boiling, melting, density, fail, I mean solid, expected to be, but why should I make it easy? I'm so literal, my foes, so heavy metal, that during that half minute of me, I'm the metal fumes you, no metaphor, can't help but breathe. Thank you. Yes.
Cheers. Thank you so much, Rosebud. Okay, so that was the last of our readers. Thank you, everyone who came out to support our fabulous contributors for The Secret Boyfriend. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Rosebud, Rebekkah, Landa, Ron, Trish, Charles, Jai, Ross, JinJin, yes. And I think I got everyone there. Thank you all so much for sharing your work. If you would like to see the issue in full, the issue was created by our online editor for this summer, Jane Morton. You can go to our website, bwr.ua.edu. And you'll see the tab with the Boyfriend Village and the Secret Boyfriend, and that's where you can find everything, including some work that you didn't get to hear because some of our contributors were not able to make it tonight. So again, this recording will be online soon. We have it recorded. It will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, and we'll share it widely on social media and everything once we get it up. Oh yes, our marketing manager, Chelsea, just shared the official link to the Boyfriend Village. Thank you, Chelsea. So that concludes this reading. Thank you so much again, everyone, and please stay well. Please take care of yourselves. and have a great night. Thank you.